What is up, buds? Welcome to Weed&d, the pot positive live tabletop role-playing experience. I am your dungeon master for the night, Brandon Allen McClenahan. My buds call me Bam. Thank you guys so much for being here every single week, doing all you do in all our various community spots. We are Art Hard Studios all over the place, Twitter, Instagram. We've got a Discord for the Weed&d community specifically, just full of some of the most wonderful people ever. So if you're not a part of some of these communities, jump in. Our Instagram is banging. Stephanie is in charge of the Instagram and she crushes it. So if you're not following us at those little spots, come hang out, man. We're having a good time. Tonight is 54, baby. Like we are coming up on Sesh 54 of this amazing story. It is just such a treat for me as I get to kind of go back and look at the breadth of what we've done and where we're going and what's left. And just, it's a very exciting time for all of us. We are getting ready for some big moves around the end of summer. So, keep an eye open as we allow more and more details, for that to come out to you. But, honestly, guys, it's just so much fun to get to play D&D with these people every week and play it our way. You know, that's what we're encouraging you to do. However you like to play D&D, play it your way, man. Just go out there and play some fucking D&D, because playing D&D is truly amazing. Find some friends, find some people online, get yourself a game of Dungeons & Dragons going, because it is the greatest game ever made, in my opinion. So thank you guys. Again, I love you so much. I really can't wait to get to the D&D tonight, because we have a lot of big full tension balloons just ready to pop. And I want to get to my people, but in order to do that, I got to hand you this here joint through the fibers of the interweb to my dear and wonderful friend, Brenna Folger. Hey, Brenna, how you doing, girl?
I'm doing great. I'm doing so good, in fact, that my name is Brenna Folger, but you know me as Prince Brunor, the Serpent Slayer. And you know what? My favorite Disney princess? I think it would have to be, I'm letting it get loose, guys. It's loose. It's open. It's a loose Disney princess. I think it's just gonna be Princess Leia. I'm just gonna call it. She's a favorite Disney princess, Princess Leia. Now, I know of a princess that's also a baby. Now, baby, what's your favorite Disney princess?
Oh my God, I thought you would never ask. Oh, Princess Baby in the house, AKA Abby Dandy around these parts, AKA Tin of Smooth Hands, level 9, halfling cleric at your service. I'm happy to be here. And oh my goodness, the question of the century. I'm an Ariel girl myself, you know? I was right in the middle of the Disney Renaissance when I was growing up. So, you know, me and my gal Ariel, we go way back. So, yeah. All right. Well, what about you, Drew? I think you might have a good answer.
Oh, me? Yeah. What up, y'all? Drew, Lorcus the dwarf, chosen of the Raka. Fucking, we just keep killing shit, just like old times. We're glad to have you along for the fucking ride. My favorite Disney princess is Drulon. Yeah, Drulon. Okay, it was Mulan, but still, whatever. It's because I'm Asian. Anyway, yeah, I think now that things have calmed down a little bit, it's time to do some shopping. Best friend, what do you say? You want to go shopping? They might have a GameStop. Yeah, let me check that out. I'll meet you at the GameStop. All right, airdropping it.
Oh, airdrops and GameStops. You know the way to my heart, best friend. Thank you. And thank you, buds, for being here. Jake Taylor here as Rial Othravan, the arcane trickster rogue. Disney princess. I don't know, man, but I also realized I forgot to answer last week's question, so we're just going to put the two together. So my favorite Disney princess is Ernie. About you guys?
Oh, appreciate it, Jake. Yeah, my favorite Disney princess is probably Megatron. I just think that she brings the most to the table as a unit and can turn into a sick gun if you have the OG action figure. That being said, I am Gus Tublence Langley, playing your resident revenant, Divot, the Bard Warlock, and I'm ready to party. So let's kick the tires and light the fires, man.
Oh, man. Every time. Somebody was like, you guys should pass a joint in the show. I'm like, we do. We do that. We do it right at the beginning.
That's a great
all right,
idea.
guys. Gosh, let's see. My favorite Disney princess. It's hard to say. You know, I'm just gonna go with Moana, even though I know she's not like your standard castle princess. She's a badass, dude, and that movie was fucking dope. And I remember that shit blew my mind a little bit. I really loved that character. So Moana is my answer. This is my joint, and this is my little lighter. It's got a natural 20 and some lightning bolts on it. So in order to start this game off, we got a little ritual we like to do around here. Maybe you heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a lighter like this one right here. Make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets on fire and go. Lighters up. Let's play some fucking D&D, guys.
WeeDnD, high fantasy, literally for you and me. So load up bowl and make a roll to take control. WeeDnD.
Ooh, that intro does it every single time. All right. If you will please allow me to set the mood. When last we left the Ferocious Five, they stood victorious within the city of Emerella. Having learned much from within the scrying pools of Harnax, the fall of Elmira, Brunor's still living sister Ulara, Thoricus's rival, Vegeta Shalefist, the struggles of Shren Oldbuck, and finally, through the combined magics of Divot and Rial, the location of Sithis, in the summer court of the Feywild. Rial confronted him directly, assuring Sithis that he undervalues the strength of goodness and will fail. The connection of the five then broke Sithis' spell and allowed Rial to return to the Prime, just as the head of Harnax appeared. Drinking the mist of memories, he warned them that Zulithax's brood all bear the same blight, and he showed them the skeleton of Harnax returning to life once more. The five jumped through the portal and appeared in the city, dispatching the Bone Dragon and the Shadowfell kobolds that appeared with him, alongside the Stone Reavers of Buraka, who now cheer for their heroes. Cha! 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 All right, guys, we jump back in. Cha! 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 You hear the surrounding Stone Reavers of Buraka, the guardians of the city of Emerella, chanting in unison, celebrating the victory of the five over the shadowy dragon of Harnax risen once more. You know, you kind of look around and take in your surroundings. You see the trees that line up all around the city around you. Some of them also adjusted with that strange shift of color that has been accompanying the strange Feywild presence in the area. You see some of the trees appear that it's in the middle of autumn rather than spring or summer. You notice, as you kind of take gain of the moment around you, this large lurching Tyrannosaurus Rex, the D-Rex, standing there, the battle now done, somewhat confusedly as the beast, partly Divot's mind, partly that of the Tyrannosaurus itself, kind of takes in the surroundings. You hear the trickling river of the river that runs nearby, near, the northwestern side of the city, the stone bridge that leads to the pathway you first followed when you came here. You notice that there seems to be more travel on the roads, and in the city itself, there's thick areas of mud and dirt pushed away, as if carriages perhaps have come through, and much more foot traffic than you'll recall when the last time you were here, when it seemed basically a quaint little mountain town. You do notice the forge to the north side of the town with smoke coming out of the forge inside. Surprisingly, knowing that Tanara is in fact in Rodella, there is some smoke coming out of the forge to the north. You see gathered around you, the horde's nearly about 25 of these Burakan Stone Reavers, each with, their double-sided axes just kind of pumping their fists in the air. They still all kind of seem very similar in style from when you left them those many months ago in Buraka. and you know the thick leather brown hides, animal skins, you know, claws and teeth and hooks and, you know, areas to accentuate the animals that they've killed, that they sustain their lifestyle with. You know, they celebrate the animals that they live off of. You see all of them around you. There's kind of like a weird thing as you look upon all their faces. It seems like all of them are trying to get a little of that Thoricus mustache and beard combo going. You see some of them more successfully than others, as some, you know, just have little peach fuzz and it's just patchy and looks terrible. And you notice a couple of them, you know, blessed with the Gus and Drew and Jake style beards that fill in nicely and don't have all these weird little spots. You see they've actually grown it. So yeah, you see that's like, it's common, you know, for the men in this Burak and Stone Reavers to try to emulate their champion, Thoricus Onyxheart. You know, you hear the cheers kind of echoing. If you'll recall, the city sits in kind of like a down, cut-across outcropping. The steep mountain walls of the Malachite Mountains going up, you know, much above to the east side of the city. You know, the backs of the trees press up against these rocks. You see the great hole blown in the side of the mountain, you know, where this giant phlegm of tar emanated from right before the battle with Harnax's skeleton. No longer a black river or any liquid flowing from that hole. It seems that whatever that source was, it was connected to Harnax in some way. And you see no longer does this black tar flow from the hole. It's just this large mar in the hole of the mountain in front of you. You kind of look around. The spirits are jovial. You look and you see some familiar faces standing to your east, kind of at the doorway of the Church of Shantia, something that none of you, including Tina, the cleric of Shantia, have ever seen. You see the old woman Sorella, the first woman that you met before you defended this town, half elven, you know, a little older. She's got black hair with gray streaks in it, but she's aging very gracefully as the elven side of her blood. She's standing in the doorway of the Church of Shantia. You also see, you know, kind of poking his head out from this house near around the corner to your south. You see Kona. You know, the blonde hair, you know, striking blonde hair and broad shoulders, kind of a surfer boy look. You know, he pops his head out and he sees that, you know, you guys are there. He apparently wasn't too interested in coming outside while there was a battle going on. You do remember him to be a little bit of a coward. And so you see he kind of pokes his head out and looks at you. You know, the young boy Tovas, you know, standing at your feet. Right now, everybody in the city, Cha! Cha, Tovas! Cha! 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 You know, you hear this great revelry. What do you do?
Oh, I hear all these chaws raining down on me, and I have both of the axes still in my hands, so I kind of like you do like a samurai would with the blood. I like whack that large black tar off of the blades, and then I lock it back together and very ceremoniously turn to Thoricus and hand them back with great gratitude and just thanks for letting me kill that thing with your axe, my brother. And then I offer my hand like the predator, you know.
You hear
When they link arms, I go, Cha!
Shaw! You hear everybody, you know, lets out one long shaw in unison. You know, Thoricus, you feel the gaze of the Stone Reavers fall upon you as your weapon, your dual-bladed axe, is handed back into your hands. You know, you jumping out of the portal, if you'll remember, there was that flash of the firebird of the Raka as you appeared in the sky. And they worship the Raka as their deity, so you as their chosen, you know, they all look to you in this moment after a great battle as they see you, you know, grab the heft of your double-sided axe. And you see Brenor, you know, you hear the cheers of the Chaw led by Tina Smoothhands. And then you see Brunor, you know, you hear the clap of your guys' hands echo off the canyon walls. Everybody cheers again. Yeah! Thoricus, you feel the heavy weapon in your hands once more. You're able to move it with relative ease.
Oh, just biceps rippling. Just rippling biceps when this happens. Just veiny. Yeah. Chop. And then I also, I want to take a look at this T-Rex and see what's going on with this T-Rex real quick.
Yeah, like why? And by the way, guys, how was Burning Man? Is it good? I've always wanted to go.
So yeah, you guys all kind of, you know, look up at the T-Rex in the room, and there's Divot transformed. You know, again, you guys aren't really familiar where he gained this ability from, but now you've seen it work for you a few times. It doesn't take away the fact that there is a 15-foot tall giant lizard, you know, with rotting skin, kind of standing there looking around. You can see the animal in his eyes is still looking at the skeleton of the dragon on the ground. You know, like, is this still a threat? You know, I've seen this thing lay on the ground before, and then I had to fight it. So, you know, Divot, as you kind of battle for control of the brain of your being, as you kind of look at this skeleton, you kind of notice that, you know, your allies are kind of like looking up at you a little nervously.
I viciously start just beating the shit out of that skeleton. If I fight it again, I'm gonna be fighting a pile of mush.
All right. Divot, you let out this great T-Rex cry and jump, and you guys see as like the remains of what's left of this. You hear, you know, the great biting sound of the D-Rex's teeth that you just heard in this battle. You hear as it connects with the bone, and that loud pop as the force of his jaws just crushes the skull of Harnax. You see he just kind of throws the bones back, and they skitter across some land on nearby rooftops. You see the whole crowd kind of like, you know, was all into it a second ago. They all kind of start, you know, backing up a little bit, like, whoa, what's up with this freaking T-Rex? And you see, you know, his little tiny arms as he's kind of digging down, like scooping at the dirt and biting, and just he just goes about desecrating the skeletal remains of Harnax. You see the bones scattered all around.
Can I then, as he starts doing that, like announce out to the crowd, "It's great to be back!" Like,
and they're all like, you see it nervous at first, but they're like, yes, yeah! And you see that the general mood increases. It's like you're just standing there in front of them while this T-Rex is just going nuts, and they're all like, yeah.
It's
Can you
good that
believe this guy desecrating a fucking dragon skeleton? What the fuck's wrong with him, right?
Who would do
Piece
that?
of shit. You still got that bag though, right?
I mean, hey,
Know about that.
I think whether they're reassured or not, the mood's high. We want to keep it high. And since I jumped out of the portal and we, you know, waged fucking siege on this dragon, I've been on the roof. So I'm kind of hiding on the roof, and I got to be best friend's wingman. And they don't know shit about this T-Rex. But if they know they've got Thoricus Onyx Heart there to protect him, no worries. So as he's doing his axe, kind of like kata routine, I want to throw some prestidigitation in there where the axe is glowing, and each time he swings, they get a much more audible like, and I'm kind of conducting from the roof in private.
Are you doing like a Dance Revolution that I have to match up the axe swings? Like,
I know you got it.
Or,
I know you got it.
All right, so yeah, Thoricus, you know, as you're standing there, you know, kind of just testing the strength of the thing, you can't help but, you know, feel the urge to show off a little bit as the people who now, you know, fight following the Stone Reaver code that you handed them. You know, you start spinning it around. You hear the first, like, and you see it. You know very quickly that it's Rial's, you know, prestidigitations, but you're not allowed to, you know, let the moment die. It starts moving. And then it starts spinning at such a speed that, like, the normal strength, the 18 strength of a normal man could not do it. And the dreidel of destruction ends as Thoricus disconnects the middle blade and swings with both hands out. You hear another cheer from the crowds.
Yo, I open up my mouth, and instead of like a roar this time, it's just like in this beautiful voice. Like this beat drops. It's just like my mouth opens and it's like I don't know, like fucking something like funky and 70s and like fucking Studio 54 right out of the like it's just like a giant speaker.
All right, make me a performance check, Divot, as a Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Okay, how do I do that?
So roll me a d20. And then we will be applying the charisma of a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Not as low as you think, only -1.
Hey,
Okay.
not bad.
So what'd you
14? Oh, do I still get advantage on it?
because of the Hat of the Harlequin, and you do still retain. Oof, that is a great rules question. In this case, yes, you have the Hat of the Harlequin. Well, no, because you take all the physical stats of the creature. You wouldn't benefit from the robe of eyes. I just flipped right there on you. I'm sorry, Divid. Unfortunately, the Hat of the Harlequin is a trait of Divid and not the Tyrannosaurus Rex.
Hey, that's totally fine.
I figure
Can't
with you
blame me
taking
for
his
giving
AC, it's like if you had magic armor, then, anyway.
Yeah. I feel you. I just didn't know how deep my connection to the hat was.
No, that's fair. I mean, it is like your legacy item, so, but yeah, 14's not bad, Divid. You managed to, you know what you do have? You still have you still have inspiration. You can add a D6 to that, because the Shamanasta, remember she hyped you up with her drum?
Yeah, oh yeah. Spread it on.
So I failed to mention the Shamanastas of Buraka, the powerful warrior women. They have tight braided hair that goes back, and they use these big, tall, almost like timpani-sized drums, that are strapped to their waist. They seem to play like a bard. They use the beat of this drum as some kind of battle magic that augments the warriors of Buraka, now the Stone Reavers of Buraka. Nice, adding another 5. Heck yeah. So,
so now it's like good.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yeah, a sound that is not that of a T-Rex comes out, using a little bit of your access to bardic magic. You kind of set this melodic tone as you open your mouth. You see, Divid, that what it has in effect done, it has calmed the onlookers. Like, they're no longer worried about this T-Rex. In fact, kind of going off what Brunor said, they're kind of like looking at Thoricus like, man, Thoricus is not only so strong that he took this dragon down, but he has somehow tamed this wild Tyrannosaurus Rex. Exactly. And, as he does his little like glow stick dance with his axe, you're sitting there playing this tone behind him. And you see actually a tone of reverence drop over the...
Take it easy, John.
But out of a T-Rex.
But out of a T-Rex.
I want to say, I just wanted to see the T-Rex's mouth open and, the fucking hardest drop dubstep fucking beat, instead of a roar, yeah.
Okay.
And I'm just rocking the thing. Yeah, you know what I mean?
All right, so that 70s track was a sample that led to the drop you're talking about.
There it is.
Ooh.
It's like, if you're going to San Fran. And then you see the Burakans, if you'll recall, they have a connection to dance and their spirituality with the Raka. So as this kind of dance party starts happening, you notice they very quickly start beating their bare feet against the ground and just full on committing to this wild dance. As Divid, you serenade them with the dubstep tones of a sweet drop. So yeah, again, and if you'll remember, they get it kind of into a trance from the music. So they're kind of getting into that a little bit with you guys.
When I notice that everybody is sort of trancing out, I can't help but sneak away and visit the church. I'm on pins and needles. I want to see what it's like here.
Yeah, Tina, it's almost like you're standing in the middle of a party and there's no audio for you. You're just kind of standing there looking through the distance, past the T-Rex between you and the church. You see Sorella standing there in the door. She's looking directly at you. You see her, half elven features, somewhat of the sharpness of elven features, but not quite so defined. Her kind face, elderly in age, but like I said, still managing, an eloquence to her years thanks to the elven lineage in her blood. You see her standing at the church, and as soon as you finally lock eyes with her, she smiles at you almost knowingly and just turns around and walks into the church. Like she knows you're coming.
I close that distance between us instantly, and as I'm walking over, it's almost like the earth beneath me is meeting my feet and caressing it in such a beautiful way that it's the most peaceful walk I've taken in my life.
Yes, you're almost reminded of the miracle that you performed on these same streets, the last time you were in the city before you left. And you feel that reach out in magic from all of the elements of nature around you. The stone of the feet almost lifting your feet as you walk. You know, the breeze of the mountain pushing you as you go. You hear almost what feels like a little bit of laughter and chittering in the trees. Like even the trees are happy to see you all once more. You know, you can't help, Tina, but as you see the distance between you and the church getting closer, feel a little bit of hesitance inside at the idea of like, you have yet to meet or pray in or anything into the world of Shantia. She offered her your power as you were in the void of the accursed church after you rejected Tharizdun. So it's almost like you're like, you feel inside yourself like you're about to meet, you know, like the most important person. Like somehow, even though you know the God isn't in there.
I've been devout and I've been learning how to be in this way, but it almost feels like I'm coming home to a home I've never been to before.
Exactly. And as your feet, you know, kind of get near the door, you look to your left and right, and again you see the Burakans, you know, lost, their eyes rolling back as they engage in their trance-like dance, you know, this celebration of the Raka. And you kind of just look at, you know, at all of them. You can't help but feel the zest of life that comes from them while they dance, and how that life is the wellspring of your new magical power. And so even though, you know, as this undeath of your brother and this giant D-Rex and the skeletal bones of the fallen Harnax rest behind you, you know, look forward and you can almost see that same benevolent glow that people see when they look at you as you look upon the doors of this church. A church that you guys burned down the last time that you were here, if you'll recall. It has since been rebuilt. The stone walls, you know, still no longer scorched with burn marks, have been cleanly washed. This place, this whole aura of this church is that of welcoming. You know, you feel like the doors that are open beg you to come in. You feel that breeze of the mountain pushing you up the steps. You see Sorella. She has completely actually gone into the back room of the church. You know, as you kind of approach the doors, the twin lit candles on either side, the cedar wood pews, you know, that fill the air with that sweet smell of nature, you know, the nature of your own God. The pews are actually the same as some of the ones from last time. If you'll recall, this was a church of Sylvanus, so it was a nature church before. They've just kind of like shifted which part of nature they're worshiping, perhaps at the slight of Sylvanus.
Is there any? Do I notice any art in like depicting Shantia or?
So yes, you do, and I'm gonna go get it real quick.
Oh, it's sick.
We bring the party everywhere we go.
Yo, who wants to ride the dinosaur?
Right.
I just
right.
want to give it, and I ride that dinosaur. Oh my god! Oh yeah. Oh wait, Brian jumps onto Divot's head, and then I jump onto Brian, and we shoot. Yeah, there's.
It'll be like Brian's in the DJ booth that is the D-Rex.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Shaw. We're just, and then and I jump up. It's a good time. I can't.
The best time.
Oh, there we
Start
go.
working on the schematics.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh, don't let me bother you. Go ahead.
No, it's just like having it to church.
We're
Well, there
and
was
we're
a
developing a
race going on.
situation out front of the church.
Perfect.
But if anyone wants to go with that to the church, don't you let us stop you. We're sporty rocking.
All right, we will actually jump back into the going-ons outside of the church. But first, Tina, you walk in and you notice the comfortable, not a modest as the way of churches go. Not a lot of glitz, not a lot of gold, not a lot of shiny stained glass. Just the hardy, brick stone of the working people, the people that need the yield of the bounty or else be lost to the cold of winter. And as your feet kind of touch the cold stone of this church, you're just filled with that benevolent light. And you start kind of looking upon the walls, and you see the standard fare of a nature god. You see, paintings of leaves and the acorn and the trees. And, around there's berry baskets and stuff for people that come in to pray, laid down at the feet of the church. There's straw and herbs that have been sprinkled on the ground to kind of fill the room with this nice scent as you kind of just breathe in the zest and the magic of nature. And you can't help it as you kind of walk, your eyes close a little bit and you just feel, it's been a long time, Tina, since you walked through a church the way that, you had so often your formative years. And so the idea of being alone in a church, late at night or when no one's around, the way that the stones feel like they comfort you as you walk closer to this altar, where the priest would give their sermons.
It's one of my very favorite places to be, and I feel as if this place I've never been is already a part of me.
Yes, it is. It's in fact like it's in a. You've been on your travels for so long that the idea of home and hearth is so far from your memory that it's like an old friend comes to visit you in this moment. You forget just how wonderful. You can almost feel turning the pages of the old text. The way the wrinkled pages, withered with time, would crinkle as you turn the pages late at night. Access to the great knowledge of the line of religion, the devout followers, and how passionate everybody is about their own patron and God. There's a ceremony and a sanctimony to the whole thing as you kind of feel yourself in that environment once more. And you look up and you see above the altar there's this like colorful painting, and it looks like it's relatively fresh. You see that it's like this beautiful, fair-skinned, green-bodied woman. She has like white, soft colors of streaks on her skin and face, but mostly she looks as if she were made out of plant matter itself. She has blooming flowers, at the height of their bloom, beautiful red flowers that wear as a crown all around her head and fall down almost like the ear of the vine or the hair of the vines around her head. You see twisting brambles that, have needles but not sharp but welcoming in some strange way that go around and twist around her chest and body. You look upon, for the first time, the visage of Shanti.
I'm brought right to my knees, and immediately a silent moment of gratitude and prayer to be before my goddess.
You see the beauty in her pupilless eyes, Tina, as if this piece of art on the wall is connecting with you in some way. And you hear Sorella speak. I knew you would come. She steps forward, as you're kind of looking up. You see she looks at you with a smile.
I had to. And then I get up and I cross the distance between us again.
You pass the pews and you see you're both kind of standing there with the altar somewhat between you, almost as if she's prepared to give a sermon and you to receive one, but there's just this strange moment as you both kind of stand there. She sees your gaze looking up at the painting. She turns. Ah, yes. Our mother is beautiful. I saw that vision in a dream. An old woman told me to make this church anew in her image. A sweet old woman, cornflower blue bonnet, kind eyes. She told me the lady would have this church remade in her honor, but in your name. And you see she turns and she suddenly, because you were so struck by the beauty, you look down and you see it's the Church of Shantia through the grace of Tina Smoothhands on this gold plate on the wall.
Oh my goodness, this is too much. Do you have any further repairs you need done? Let me help.
Oh, dear, we live simply. The bounty of the harvest is changed. The sun, it is unmoving. Crops are dying. Animals are going crazy. Our Lady sends her benevolence in what she can, but it seems not enough for some of the other cities. People are growing anxious. Our Lady does all she can, but her voice, it weakens.
Other cities?
Yes. No doubt.
Which
you
ones?
remember
You're
Tilmore.
fine here?
So she goes on to explain that no doubt you remember Tilmore, where the refugee camp that you guys had established was. Civil strife. Without the food, without the bounty of the surrounding regions, the sun not sharing their gifts, they grow hungry. I hear the world grows hungry. The rivers, they run faint with fish.
This is why we've returned. The 5 of us will fix this all, and Shantia's bounty will shine among all of us again.
She like reaches forward, she looks at you, and for once she starts kind of shifting to that image of you as like a prophet of sorts. You see her eyes look as if she sees the benevolence that spills off of you. She goes, "You are a fitting agent for Our Lady. Your tale will be told in the books." You see, she looks back. You see that she appears to have been there's like stacks of books on this table behind her in kind of the office behind the church proper. And you see there's several tomes of books that are laid out, and a quill set up with several tabs of fresh ink. And she says, "I write the tome, the book of Shantia. I hear it in my dreams from the old woman. I write what she says. I wish to finish this book. Some coin could deliver it to the world. May they see the light of the lady and share in her benevolence. Surely she will see them filled with bounty and food if they only pay proper amends to her."
Shantia has truly blessed you, and it's my duty to make sure that you bring her word to the world. Spread it as far and as wide as you can. I'll fund it. No matter the cost.
You see she gets down on one knee in front of you. "Oh, my lady, you are most gracious and pure, just like our mother."
Thank you. Rise. Spread the word.
"Spread the word. Finish the book. And I shall." Tinoe shift back over to the outside. The rest of you guys, Divot, you're still kind of standing there having just thrown the last of the dust off. You see Brunor kind of riding on top of you. The party's going down. What have you guys been up to as Tina went and connected with some of her divine origin?
Well, I'm happy that you have returned with us, because currently I am standing on Brian's shoulders while he is shooting fire out of his mouth, and he is standing on Divot's shoulders as Divot blasts. At this point, it's just a wall of noise. The beat is hot, it is heavy, it is rattle your bones, loud, right?
Yeah.
You feel there's your heart's gonna skip a beat, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also just playing electric air guitar on top of Brian. Great.
Almost in a complete juxtaposition to this revelrous, prophetic holy moment occurring in the church. You guys are just fucking raging outside. Brian's blast of this green and red fire. Thoricus is spinning dual-sided axes. Rial accentuating the party with his magical blasts from sitting behind, on the roof. They still haven't even really seen you. The Burakans themselves are full 100% in their trance. This revelrous battle rage that they used to be synonymous for, that maybe they haven't felt since the last battle that they had. You see, they all kind of getting into it, digging into the red and brown mud around their feet. Kicking up great piles of rocks, stone, and mud as they basically thrash their bodies about in jubilation. You see the shamanastas are just beating on their drums, adding to this moment as basically a full-on rager is starting to occur. Again, the world is kind of a sad place right now, and moments like these are few and far between. You even see the nervous Kona kind of starts meandering into the streets and feeling the energy of this strange and wild dance. You see the children, man, they're right away. All kids are always ready to party. These kids are dancing. They're having a good time. You see him picking up mud, and Albie smears a little on his face so that he's got battle paint like the warriors do. And you see the other little boy Tovas, kind of dancing around where you are, Brunor, still just kind of looking up at you whoa, just can't believe the spectacle of what's going on. You see even Kona, who everybody else is dancing. You see Kona, the giant bugbear, the leader of the Burakan Stone Reavers, wielding the axe, the original Lucille that Thoricus first had before he took on Lucille the Fury. And you see him just kind of standing there in his big, giant, thick leather armor, big, giant owlbear cloak that goes off of his back, leather plate over his face, bandana over here. All you really see are the heavy slits of his eyes and little tufts of the burnt orange hair that he covers with this big, thick helmet. You even see him kind of like doing the like when your dad's at the party, you know, and he's having a good time. So he's kind of like he's not a dancer, but you know he's not as keen to the raka as the rest of the people. But you see basically like kind of a holy experience for these Burakans as you guys kind of give them the spectacle of not only appearing out of a portal in the sky with Tyrannosaurus Rex, killing the dragon and all these kobolds, and then now this spectacle. You know, these guys are about at 100. You know what I mean? Like it's hard. Like your amps are at 11 right now. They're all like, oh man! Yeah, everybody's hyped on the 5 right now.
Nothing can stop us. We're all the way up.
Yeah, we're gonna live forever.
I almost want to just like tell everybody to stop and go home. Like, just tell them.
All right.
That's enough partying. Go away now.
They can't really hear you over the drums a little bit, and then like one of them's kind of like, "Wait, did you just? Are we?" And there's just kind of like a sense of awkwardness in the crowd.
It's actually not a bad idea, though.
Yeah, everybody, like that was cool. I'm really not good at. I'm good at speeches, but not at like transitions. Wow. So I feel like it's irresponsible of us to continue partying. I feel like we should just rest up, chill out, right? Everybody, are we right? Lighters up.
I shrivel up back into Divot.
Yeah,
So Divot between your transformation.
lighters.
I didn't know.
Lighters. They're all like lighters.
We are doing it.
Fred.
We're not. We're
No?
not.
We are.
We
doing
are
it.
doing it.
We're not.
We are.
We are.
Lighters up.
Lighters up.
Be smooth.
Yeah, so actually you see Toko kind of takes your signal, Brunor, and Euthorcus as well. And you see him suddenly, you know, he stops kind of shifting to his dance. You see he kind of signals to the Shaman Ostis to stop playing their drum. The sound of Divot, you know, as he dwindles back into his you know, nevertheless impressive form, but no longer the massive D-Rex. You know, but standing there, the somewhat rotting corpse of Divot appears back down to man. The song stops. And you see Toko's just like, you've had enough! What are you, dancers or warriors? Back to work!
People.
And you see you see like all the soldiers kind of like come out, like shake out of it, like, oh shit, he's right. You see they all look at you, Thorcus, and they all stick their axes in the air.
Axe life forever, baby. My name's Thorcus, and I like to party.
Like, we like to party too, yeah.
All right.
Yo, did any of the soldiers happen to look like they really had to think about it when he asked if they were dancers or soldiers?
Yes, absolutely. You see one in the back that has really nice calves. You see him standing in the back, and he's got his shoulders pulled back, no tension, no sagging, his posture is incredible. And you see him kind of using the axe almost like a bar as he tests his legs. But yeah, you see he actually, the answer was a little harder for him, Divot. Good of you to pick up on that.
Okay. I pull him to the side. I select him to like divulge my version of the goings on so that our tale can be told in the future.
Fantastic.
That's cool. Yeah.
But it's a very like this is what it looked like to me.
It's very Divot centric. It's like,
Yes.
And then Divot and some of his friends were like, did this.
Hey, Divot, at the same time, can Brian, just like the last time Brian was on your shoulders and you shrunk down, can he still just be on you? But he's like on his feet, but he's just like hugging you at the same time from behind.
Aw.
Yeah, we always forget Brian's on top of you when you shrink back
Yeah,
down.
so
from
I
being
am
a
little
T-Rex.
spoon to Brian the entire time I'm talking to Dancing Man.
Cha.
Cha.
Amazing.
So I'm
You
just
see,
like,
yeah,
have
Divot.
you-
You see, his eyes are bewildered. You know, it's like the amount of high magic that they have bore witness to in this small amount of time, conceding with this rotting man. You know, speaking with the red mask of death. You know, and talking to him as this giant 10-foot long Dracodile with big green dragon wings. You know, stands near the throne of a slain green dragon, and you see him just kind of pressed on your shoulders. The guy looks at you, Divot, forever changed. You see, he looks over and he's like, "Oh, I shall to Ubre. We shall see if we can dance for the spirits, to regain their vision once more. Thank you, Lightning Dodger. And he gives you a shoulder touch. And he's like, ooh. And then he kind of EBGBs away. You see him run back toward the east side of town, around where the kind of war tents of the Burakan people have set up camp on the east side of town. You see him just kind of skitter off.
Tell the tale.
He shall.
Yeah. That was cool.
All right, so the at this point you kind of see, it's Toko is making he's like, let's not make a huge thing out of this. Everybody get back to your training, get back to your posts, get back to, it's like, let's check our casualties. Like I said, I did mention a couple of the Stone Reavers did fall. And so, you see Toko's just kind of getting everything back into the going on. You see a couple kind of strange people that you haven't seen before, like some humanoids poking their head out of the inn. You see a little sign that says the Dancing Dragon Inn, a new name for the inn. And you see a couple people kind of poke their heads out and then just kind of go back into the bar where you imagine they spend most of their time. You see Kona still on the streets, kind of a little bit shocked to see you guys. But at this point, even the blacksmith kind of returns into the forge. And then, you see some of the Burakans would still be around. They start kind of attending to the dead bodies of these strange Shadowfell kobolds and stuff, cleaning up the remnants of battle to kind of try to get the town back in order. You see they kind of serve as a protectorate for the town, and they take that role pretty seriously. They start, and you see they're all kind of doing extra good because Thoricus is watching. They all want, maybe one of them will do a good enough job to get him to come over and talk to him.
They should always be doing that good of a job, whether I'm here or not.
Damn.
As is the code of the Stone Reavers, no doubt. So, you guys, you've kind of, the party vibe has died down, the celebration is calmed down. And you're standing in the city of Emerella once more, a little changed by the strange fey magics that twist these trees around to appear in different seasons. The river, still flowing, but according to the priestess, no longer with fish. It is about this time, Tina, that your conversation would be done with her, and you guys kind of all at this point could come back together or do whatever you would like.
I'd like to, as I notice everything's winding down and I finish up my conversations with Sorella, I'd like to head to the inn. These little muscles are aching, and I'd like to see if I can't get a bath.
All right, so the bar, you see, it's kind of a combination bar inn. You pay for your room, and then it's this bedding area over by where that windmill is to the south is where you actually sleep. They do have a more expensive, nicer suite that has a big giant, basically big metal pot that you fill with hot water, and so but yes, you see they only have 2 of those style rooms of the finest. You walk, Tina, again almost on your own course right now. You kind of just left in the midst of the celebration. You now walk out, you kind of see Divot is back to himself, no longer a T-Rex standing there. The shadowy impression, that's what that is. It's not the bones of him anymore. It's just a shadowy impression of his body there in the ground.
I'm riding this holy high, and I feel like I need a meditative soak.
Perfect. You kind of turn the corner. You can't help but look at the corner, Tina, where you almost died. If you remember during the battle with Harnax, you were double teamed by these minor dragons that were just bathing you in fire. This is when your connection to Shantia wasn't nearly as powerful as it is now. And you can't help but, as you kind of look at the stone outside of the storefront that used to be there, but see almost the vision of yourself. You see the outline of a more innocent, less powerful Tina, not yet sure of her powers. Still, in that situation today, you would have bested those you banish one and fight the other one, and exactly it's there's you have access to these new powers. You feel the strength of yourself calling on the nature of the city around you. You go to the double doors on the west side of the Dancing Dragon Inn, and you open them, and almost the harsh light from outside of the sun still frozen in the sky shines in. You see a couple of the people that have been there for a little too long, had a few drinks, kind of cover their eyes as the lights come in. You smell the normal smells and trappings of an inn, something you loved is in your life on the road. You hear the crackling fire of a fireplace nearby, comfortable seats and stools, set tables, areas where individuals could sit, a bar suited against the southern wall where you see, just kind of this like half-elf guy just kind of slumped over his drink, maybe had one too many. Another guy, kind of a human man, sitting in the chair near the fire, just warming his feet, after the commotion of this craziness has gone on. You see he seems to enjoy the quiet. But before you can kind of get to the bar and make your order, you notice one thing. The sprawled out body of Kumal. You see he's just like, it's like this, but it's opposite. He's face down. Okay, so he's like this. He's literally laying on the bar. Or this like not the bar, but the main center table in this bar. You see several empty cups spilled all around him. As you kind of get closer, it's like the smell of a man who hasn't bathed in a long time suddenly starts to fill your nose. You see what looks like Kumal, his dark kind of hair, his heavy-set eyes, his stern expression. You see he's like kind of thrown up out of his mouth a little bit, but he's still knocking off plates and other cups as he's like reaching for another pitcher of ale. You see a broken man hunched over this table. As the light from the room shines in, he looks up at you and he's like, "Close the fucking door!"
Oh, I make my way in and I'm like, Kumal? And I try to coax him off of the counter if I can.
You see kind of like, as you like reach for him, how like drunks are unwieldy? Like you're just like, let me just help you off that. And they're like, let me turn, I'm gonna twist it my middle. And so, you're like trying to get him and he's like, he's unable of doing anything other than this form. But you're trying to like calm down. You see he's kind of riled up. No, wait. Fucking hell. It's you. You took her. You took her. Is she dead? Did you kill her? Like you were supposed to? Did you kill her?
Yeah.
What the fuck is this guy talking about?
Who? What the? What?
Who are you talking about?
My daughter. The little
I'm
one.
so lost.
She's somewhat unremarkable.
Guys, the kid that we killed.
Oh, yes.
You're gonna have to
You gotta be more specific than that. Yeah.
Yep.
You right. That's
Were they burned in a church?
Did you kill her?
Or beat at a bar.
Tell me, did you kill her?
Yes, we had to do it.
You see, he sits down. So she's gone then.
We did wait until she turned.
Who the fuck are we talking about?
Turned? What do you mean turned?
She went full sick house on us, man.
She was beyond Kumal. She wasn't the child anymore.
Wait. So we were right. She was doomed.
Sure.
Yeah.
The doings of a witch.
We did all we could to intervene. It was a horrible curse.
I think I need to say a prayer. You see, he gets up, and he's so drunk that it's almost impossible for him to walk. You see, he steps 1 foot down, and he kind of catches himself fall. And as you try to help him, Tinny pushes your arms away. He's like, I need to say a prayer for my little girl. And he kind of walks. Tinny, he takes 2 steps and falls unconscious. You see, he throws up a little bit on the ground.
Oh.
And he just lays back in the heavy, sweaty breathing of a very drunken man. You hear him kind of muttering to himself in his sleep. My fair daughter, my poor daughter.
He's completely passed out now?
Yeah, he's kind of talking to himself in his sleep, but he's out, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna approach the bar and I'm gonna buy him a room and a meal. and do the same for myself still.
All right, so you step up to the bartender. You know, no longer well, obviously it's not the other bartender because that guy's dead. But there is a new bartender. You know, you see he's kind of a big, stout man. You know, with big, kind of like a loving uncle, just a big, broad body that you just kind of want to like pick up and hug. And but a stout man, a stern man, a man who clearly lived some time of the earth. You know, he has the worn hands of a man that lived a full life, but he has that same that quality that just makes an innkeeper, Tina. You know, there's a quality of like, oh, what can I do for you at last? And you see he's like cleaning a glass, like all bartenders will forever be doing in every scene with a bartender the rest of your life. So he's just forever cleaning this one glass. But he looks at you with a smile. He looks over your shoulder. Oh, Kumal, huh? Sad tale. Poor man. What can I do for you, lass?
I feel guilty to be entangled in it. A meal for me and a meal for him, and maybe a room for him too. I don't think he'll be going anywhere for a while.
He looks at you, he's like, he's got quite a tab, my lady. Forget it. Forget it. You all save the town. Meals all around, huh? You see, he turns and he's like, he kind of walks over here. You see him step over to the window in the southwest of the door, and he opens it. He screws out. He's like, "Hey, Emily, I'm gonna need your help, lass." And you see Kumal's daughter, you know, kind of run from the house in the corner of the Kumal's house. You see, she kind of just like runs down, slap, 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 slap. You hear the slap of her feet on the ground as she runs through, and then she starts going about like grabbing she's like a part-time barmaid for him. And she starts like setting up the meals and grabbing the food. He's like, anything else for you, dear?
I'd like to get a soak if I can also.
Ah, yes. And he's like, here, Emily. And he grabs the tray of food. He's like, I'll handle that. You go run the water hot for the lady. You see, he kind of points, just to the south part there, Tina. There's a couple doors there. He's like, that's where my suites are. Finest rooms we've got. For you, my lady, on the house. He's kind of cleaning the glass still while he's holding a tray of food.
That is too kind. Too kind.
Ah, they sing songs about you in here, my lady. I've heard the bards sing a tale of your entire party. It is my honor to welcome you to the Dancing Dragon. If I can do anything for you at all, you let me know. And he kind of just starts attending to the large order of food that he'll have to make.
Thank you so much. And then I'm gonna head off for my little soak.
All right, so again, we go back to you guys. As Tina's kind of made her way down to the bar and had this moment with Kumal. What are you guys up to?
Well, I'm still hiding out on the roof, watching my friends be utterly butt-fucking awesome.
Make a perception check for me, Rial. I know you have dope perception.
Well, this might come in handy with what I'd like to do next, so...
Perfect.
You know what I want to do.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, I'm looking for the thing that I need here.
I guess it ain't much awesomeness at all.
Whoa! Shit, crit.
Shit, crit. Those rules are important. We don't break those rules. All right, so in that case, Rial, you're just sitting on the roof. You just narrated some magical spectacle to kind of blow the minds of this village of people. It seems like a lot of people have kind of ran to their respective houses and homes. Just in the turmoil, you do see again the number of people on this map is not necessarily synonymous with like the going on of this town. There are like some random people just walking around that you haven't seen that seem to just have some kind of purpose or job in the city. Perhaps they live in some of the once abandoned rooms. You're not really sure, but you're sitting up there on the roof. And what are you doing?
So I'm gonna start slinking across. I want to make my way to the church. We have some history, so
yes.
So I'm gonna start kind of like staying on the rooftops and as out of sight as possible. But if I could, I don't know if that same perception check counts. I do want to have eyes along the walls. I want to see if there's any kind of I'm concerned about the bounty on Brunor. So I want to see if those wanted posters are in town at all while I start making my way towards the church via roof.
No, fair point. So you guys, you know those wanted posters have been seen, or at least where you saw them, you assume in Nombuldir to the north, kind of checking to see if word has spread this far south of this large bounty on Brunor the Serpent. You look around, you kind of look at the old cobblestone bricks of the city. There's a wholeness to this place, Rial, where you can kind of see a place that was in peril that has been changed for the better through the actions of what you did. Even one of your heavier regrets, having to light a church on fire, you now see like a phoenix from the ashes, like the rocket from the flame. It's like there was a new birth given to this building that seems to have bettered the moods and the people of the city. And so, while having that nostalgic connection with the village around you, you also are looking around to see if you see any of these strange, these wanted posters, and you do not see it. You see the old merchant shop. Here is, there's a light in the window. You see again the forge still kind of illuminated. The house that's attached to the forge, the door is open. And yeah, so you're kind of like perusing the stones looking for wanted posters. You don't find any real.
All right, duly noted. I'm gonna keep hip hopping. Looks like I gotta make a teensy little jump to get to this roof. And yeah, let's definitely looking at the church and having those feelings. It's not like I came in feeling pretty guilty, but man, like look what came from it.
Yeah,
Still
you look inside. You see that beautiful, the beautiful image of the visage of Shantia. Understanding a little bit more of the power source that that your friend draws from her connection to God. Something real that you have are strangely absent of. How simple it would be, Rial, if only a deity would reach out to you and give you answers. But you wander adrift without this same connection that she has. And you certainly can see the strengths of it, but you've also seen, the path of dedication she's had to adhere to now. And you've seen the change within her as she comes closer to that pure divine connection. So even in this moment, as you look into the church, you can't help but hear the scratching sounds of the dragon that was thrashing within, that burned to death, the breaking glass, the smashing pews. To look inside now, smell the sweet, sages that are sprinkled on the floor, the wood of the forest that surrounds you, that just beautiful feeling, that sweet mountain breeze that always hooks through and pushes the blades of the windmill. The blades of the windmill still in a little bit of a tatters. From the heavy battle that took place and the many things that happened on him. So yeah, you have like a beautiful moment, Rial, kind of connecting to a religious place, not necessarily being of that religion. You can still appreciate that moment.
Yeah, and those smells of nature, that's my bread and butter. Kind of get caught up a little bit, and I don't notice Sorella down there.
Yes.
And when you try and like act inconspicuous, but you're overly conspicuous that way. I just start looking at the pews like,
it's good pew. It's good pew. You see, she seems to be, she's almost sweating. She's pretty furiously writing back in her office. She's like, just kind of like scribbling away on this book. It appears she's like really trying to get it to where she can send it out as per Tina's wishes. Not in like an unhealthy way. She's not like going insane or anything, but she is like clearly like she's working her ass off. You see, she just kind of looks up at you when she notices that you don't really have any needs from her. She goes back down to her work, Rio.
Fair enough. Well, I approach this portrait of this deity. Yes. I do see the plaque with my dear friend Tina Smoothhand's name on it.
Through the grace of Tina Smoothhands, yes.
And I'm burdened just with this information from this trip that Divot and I had. And I don't know if she's listening, but I do just kind of stare at this portrait, and aloud I say, Shantia, I'm not sure if anyone's listening up there, but there is a dark mar upon the plains. There is someone of extremely evil intent playing with the summer court and the winter court. And I don't know who else, and I don't know who can help us or who we're supposed to help, but sending that out in the world to you. Hopefully you catch that.
You know,
Haven't
Rial,
done
like
it
an
before.
untrained prayer. You know, you're kind of like down on one knee, two knees, up. You're just like, how do I? You want to pay the proper respect, but you don't necessarily know how to do so. You send this message to the sky, and you kind of like feel yourself going into your elvish trance. You know, the when you rest, that like semi-meditation where kind of the world washes away from you, and you feel like a singularity in space right now. You know, like it's just you in this room that smells of sage and wood, and you can feel, even though you're not a nature cleric, you can't help but feel that little breeze of nature that just blows in the room and makes the silence around you holy. And you send your energy out to this visage of Shantia, and you just trance. You hear the wind blowing through the mountain. And for a moment you think perhaps your connection not true. And unlike in a communication where you feel energy reciprocated, you feel a warm light start glowing on you, sourced from the painting. And your eyes still kind of closed. You feel the warm light of sun on your face. And you hear a sentence in response. Oh dear, do not worry. You're on the right path. And that's where we're going to pick it up after intermission, guys.
Oh my god.
You do this. You do these things to us. Holy shit.
We'll feel dividend later. It's fine.
He's like, what? All right. Oh my God, guys. Obviously, we want to get back to this. We do a 10-minute break. We're going to do that shit real quick. We got to pee. I got to roll another, I got to roll at least another joint. That was a nice little thing. Don't worry, I'll summarize a little bit if you don't know who that woman was when we get back. 10 minutes, all this original art and music created for and inspired by the show. Big shout outs to the man who makes all our original music, Sandy Stein. Man is a wizard. Vlad Kolinik, who does the bulk of our art. Sean Gilchrist. Jake's got an amazing time lapse in there. My man Ben, my man Ray. Everybody who submitted to the show, Gabe, I don't forget you either. Honestly, guys, it's so amazing. Catch this 10-minute intermission. Check this beautiful music. Check this beautiful art. And we will be back to friggin' get to that good stuff.
Yay!
Get into the good stuff.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear.
Oh dear. welcome back, buds, to Weed&d. Holy crap, what a fun-filled first half that was. When last we left the Five, Rial was sitting in the Church of Shantia within the city of Emerella, when he heard the familiar voice of Martha Goutshire, a fallen ally of the Five that was lost in the temple of Eraz-Dul during the battle with Urgon, the Archmagus. It was some pretty heavy stuff. So, man, I'm sorry. I'm just going to jump right back in, guys. Rial, you're still sitting in your trance-like state in the center of the, sitting basically in the center row in between the pews of the Church of Shantia. The benevolent warm light that was on your face, kind of fades away after you hear the voice, as if it was just a single message sent your way from the benevolent light of the image of Shantia. You kind of sit there in this trance. You feel as the room, still kind of wash around you. You hear the hollow stones, the smell of sage in your nose as you kind of just, trance in this meditative state. You will be meditating for the next 4 hours, Rial. You're actually in your trance mechanic now, and you're not really able to wake up. Like this sensation, this warm glow. But as you're, sitting there in your trance, you feel like you see at the end of this long expanse, like at the edge of your vision as you kind of trance, you see the frame of an old woman in a cornflower blue bodice, just standing just out of the gaze of your vision. You can barely make out the details of this old woman, and you hear that voice, that "do not fret, dear," just echoing kind of in your mind as you go through this 4-hour trance. We kind of shift to the outside. Tina, you're sitting in the Dancing Dragon Inn as the child Emily starts to take you to your basically your suite. You see as you guys kind of reach the door, she looks down at her father, who is laying on the ground in a drunken stupor. She doesn't look too surprised, but you hear the bartender's like, "Oh, She's ordered a room for your old man too. Get him taken care of." And you see she kind of like looks around like, "I have to do this." She walks over and for probably the 100th time picks up her drunken father and kind of helps guide him and you to the suite. Is that what you kind of want to do, Tina? You want to like get like your bath and a rest on?
In a minute. I really see myself in this girl right here.
Yes.
And I want to slip her a piece of platinum and say, "Things will get better."
You see she, as you kind of hand this coin to her, you see as you start to hand it to her, her eyes immediately dart to her father to see if he can see. And, he lies unresponsive on the ground, and she looks up at you, her eyes kind of welling with moisture as she looks at the sight yet again. And you see her little hand like reaches up and takes the platinum, and she looks at it, and she nods her head in appreciation. She's like, thank you, my lady. And you see she tucks it in some little pouch within, underneath her skirt.
That's for you. May it take you very far away from here so that you can do whatever you'd like with your life. We don't all have to be the image of our family.
But my brother.
Thank you for your service. Your brother?
My brother. Since our sister left, we ain't got anybody to play with. Everybody still thinks we're weird. You see, she's kind of like, the money will go to good use, ma'am. I'll see it that me and my brother, we have a better life. Thank you. She kind of tugs at the side of you and starts leading you to your suite.
Who are these people that think you're weird?
The young ones, the Burakan kids. They're all fighting and dancing. We're simpler. We like to sit by the river. They don't like sitting by the river.
What's wrong with sitting by the river?
You see, she kind of smiles. Right? I love the river. Sometimes I want to see where the river ends. You see, she kind of looks wistfully kind of out the window as, the reality of her real life. And as the road that lies beyond, kind of that calling point between the two of them. She's like, perhaps one day I will, ma'am. Like you.
You know what? This bath can wait. I feel very clear-headed all of a sudden. I don't just want to leave Kumal here, but I think we should take a walk to the river.
Oh, sure, I'll show you my favorite sitting spot. She's very excited. You see, she looks over at the bartender, and he gives her, it's kind of a touching moment. He gives her like a gruff look, and she's kind of like, oh, please. And then he's like, all right, if the good lady says so, and he kind of throws you a wink, his big bushy red eyebrows as he goes about like setting out the meal. He kind of like, oh, but before you go, and you see him wrap up, a couple pieces of bread and some berries, and he hands a little bundled loaf to you and the girl. He's like, nothing like a picnic by the water, huh?
Thank you so much, good sir.
Reading a glass.
I want to toss him some gold if I can.
Yeah, absolutely. How much gold do you want to give him?
Like a nice hefty tip, yeah.
Like a lavish room would be like 5 gold a night. You know what I mean? So it's like, I know you guys are pretty fat with cash right now.
Okay.
But there is also like the relative knowledge of the economy. Like, give somebody too much money and they'll probably get robbed. And so it's like
right.
5 gold seems about in that realm where it's like,
that sounds good.
That would be like a great month's work for him. It's like it's big time in a big way for a small player in the world.
So I'll give him 5 gold.
She's like, oh, my lady. Here. And then he like quickly runs back to the back of the bar, and he doesn't give you the whole bottle because he knows you would refuse, but he does pour like a glass of this really fine wine that he has. And he's like, I find it makes the flow of the river sound a little better. And he gives you a big wink with his bushy eyebrows, and gives you like a little glass of this delicious wine. You
are too kind. I'm sure Shantia's bounty will make this extra delicious.
Our mother, a good woman. You see, he apparently is also of the Church of Shantia. And so, yeah, he goes back to doing, it's funny, you see the same tenderness in the way that he prepares food, in the way that you do. You're actually kind of seeing that, like, maybe some of those times when you're cooking, it is in fact the grace of Shantia guiding your hands, in the sense that it's like he's doing, it could be you over the fire right now as he prepares a meal much larger than the faculties of one person could do. He sets out massive loaves of fresh cooked bread that seem spun out of nowhere, and so he's preparing a pretty great meal for everybody who may be hungry, as he offered.
Awesome, and I recognize that own fervor from myself, and then I turn to the girl and, well, why don't you show me to the river then?
All right, she looks up. She's very excited to like have somebody to show like her favorite places, and you see, you and her kind of walk out into this the streetway here, and you see, she's noticing that there's a couple of the Burakan Stone Reavers are like cleaning up the remains of some of the battle and stuff.
I know my influence around here. I know I kind of turn heads, so I kind of want to make it like as big a deal as possible that we're going to the river, and it's a cool thing that we're going to the river. And you know what? Only the cool kids go to the river.
All right, yeah, you see like one of the Burakan kids that's just like doing work for his dad, just like helping move some broken wood and stuff that's been knocked off one of the buildings. And you see he kind of looks over, as he's like used to picking on this little girl, and he kind of sees he's looking at it, he's like, wait, what? And he's kind of like, hey, and he waves over. You see a couple of the other kids, they're all kind of like hiding and like peeking around corners and watching where you guys go. So Tina, you and she kind of make your way over here toward this river, and you see she's pointing out like, that's my favorite tree. It's strange the color of it changed, and oh look, if you sit right here and close your eyes, and she's just like a little girl, so happy to show you her favorite place.
Nice. I listen to everything she has to tell me. I check out all the spots, and I want to check in the nature around and see if I can't find like a cool flower or like something really pretty that she might like.
Give me a nature check.
Yeah.
With advantage. You're Shantia's girl, and you're in nature.
Yeah.
You just came out to church.
Yeah, I'm like riding off with these blessed highs.
Wow.
Oh man, we have rolled what, twice tonight, and both like 3 times 2 of them have been. I love it. Thank you, Roll20, for your strangely balanced digital dice.
Yeah, so I'm searching and I find there's actually a little thicket of roses right there, and I prick one, and it looks pretty similar to the ones that adorn my own jewelry and my own shield, and I give it to her as just another little token of gratitude.
You know, you take like a sprig of a nearby bramble and kind of weave the stem of the rose into it. It sets like a little circlet upon her head, you know, and you see her mood, you know, as ripe as the colors of this rose. You know, you see she matches it in spirit as she lights up the way that you know a beautiful thing of nature can do. To be fair, you did roll a super crit on your 20. So as you're looking into this rose bush, you notice that at the core of like this thicket of roses, there is one rose that stands out against from the others. And, you know, rather than a blue rose, a white rose, a pink rose, a red rose, it is in fact a multicolored rose. Every leaf on the flower a different color: blue, green, red, purple, white, pink. And, you know, you can only imagine is somewhat from this influence of the Feywild coming from nearby, the wild magics of that place. But you do look down, Tina, upon a multicolored rose that's just stemming.
I've heard stories about roses like this from my childhood. I want to pluck it, but it's too beautiful. It's too protected by the thorns around it that I don't dare.
I love it.
I just admire its beauty.
You know, you feel in this moment, Tina, the same reverence that you felt when you stood on the stone of the church. You know, it's like that is one of the glory of Shantia. It is not just the buildings of her worship that is the most proper place to see her beauty, but rather in the natures and the wilds of the world. And so, you know, almost as if looking upon that beautiful painting once more, you see the glory and the beauty of nature in this delicate and rare rose. And you leave it there, which I love. So take an inspiration point if you didn't have one already.
Okay, yeah. I already have.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
So the Tina, that's gonna. So basically, at that point, you know, she and you, she sit by the river for some time, and eventually, she basically just offers. You know, it's that she's got to get her brother a meal, get her father's room set up, and help the bartender and everything, and offers to set you up as well.
Yes, please. Thank you, and thank you for showing me around.
You see, this child seems awfully changed from even in just the short contact that she's had with you, Tina. This care and concern, almost a mother's grace, something that she has, her mother passed away from the story of Kumal, and not too long ago as well. So, the tired life, the trying to make the best of it for her family and her brothers and everything, to have a little time just to herself, you see has done good within her. How that light may grow is kind of the beauty of a benevolent life. You see that light within her just begging to be watered, by the time. So
I've been lucky today to offer you my own simple kindness and my own simple grace. Pass it on to all you meet. That's all I ask in return. And thank you so much for your kindness while I've been here.
You see, she's like, "It's my pleasure, my lady." And then you see, she kind of like looks at you and she looks at the church and she's like, "Is the mother for everyone?"
Yes, the mother is for absolutely everyone.
You see, she
no
smiles.
matter your creed, no matter anything, the mother is for everyone.
Well, then I had two mothers then. You see, she smiles, and again, that light that you've instilled within her, that bounty, that benevolence that emanates from you. You see, you've basically placed almost like Death's acorn of shadow magic and divot, this little growing acorn of hope and purpose within this child. And she kind of guides you back away from the river. She points out her house. And she's like, my brother's probably in there, running around playing with sticks or whatever. You see the Burakan kids kind of watching as they run by, like, oh, you're not really sure how that might play out, but they do seem rather impressed at her proximity to the Great Tina. And she guides you down to the suite that you've paid for. You see, as soon as the door is open, the bartender is already, Cephas has already prepared the warm bath waters for you. And you see it's kind of like a steamy humidity in the room. And she's like, "Thank you so much, Your Grace." and you just see, a changed child, a happiness in her, maybe thought lost, as she runs about to resume her duties in the bar, helping Cephas set up.
Cool. Once I have some privacy, I'm still, yes, glowing in the moment of appreciation that I was able to affect her and create some goodness. But as I sort of sink into the bath and let my muscles relax, I begin to consider our effect on the rest of the world and whether or not our travels have been harmful.
Fair point.
Yeah.
And, as you kind of simmer on that inner turmoil, this discussion with yourself, weighing the balances, weighing the lives that have been touched and the things that have been changed, the perils, no doubt, that you have all stood against. But again, something that kind of floats in many of your minds as you reflect upon your actions. It's a little bit of like, whose side is playing what? Who's doing who? Am I helping somebody or am I hurting somebody? And those thoughts kind of simmer with you in the bath, Tina, and you allow yourself, as a wise person would do, to reflect upon the actions of the five and what's occurred in your time since then. We kind of shift over to the other group. Rial's tranced out in the church, receiving this message from parts unknown, as Tina kind of prepares, after her moment with the children. What are you guys up to?
I see. I'm taken by everybody being convinced to go to the river because I love water. I love it so much. Stay hydrated, So, any given moment that so actually what I really like to do in this moment is check in with my blight man. And we've been through a lot together in even just from the time that we've known each other, but also in this very short amount of time here, right? Like, I feel like he's been trying to communicate with me more than usual, than just taking orders. Mm-hmm. He's been, instead of just receiving, he's been giving me a lot. And I want to try to take some time. I want to take him with me because we also just re-killed Harnax, and he had a part of Harnax, become a part of him now. So I recognize that, I see that might feel very not tubular to have that happen, to see kind of the death of something that you've now become a part of, So I take I take Brian, I gestured him, I'm very stoned, those crits. Anyway, so I take the Brian man to the river, and it's kind of rained on by this laughter of children and something that I haven't really heard in a while. The last time I was around little dudes, they were falling out of windmills, Sure. So, or, being burned alive because they're evil incarnate type situation, they're poisoned. And even then, with Elmira, just I hadn't heard children in a while, because I fucked off. I would go do whatever I wanted because I'm the prince, right? I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
But I wasn't always out at night just dicking around and drinking and getting really, really fucked up. I was out in the parks. I was enjoying the people, I was with everyone else instead of staying cooped up in, meetings and all this other bullshit that I wanted nothing to do with. I was out with the people, right? So hearing children laughing and just people going about their day is kind of calming to me. So I want to take Brian and try to reconnect with him in the river, just kind of walk him over, because it's not super deep, right? There's not even fish anymore. So we kind of take ourselves into the water if he'll let me, and I want to take some time to trance with him and connect with him and kind of have this time with him, but also maybe take the extra hour. Is there a possible way that I can hold on, let me see if I have one, because I think I do. Damn it, I don't. I want to try to re-attune with him, how it takes time to attune to my shield. I knew about that, my maiden spore, all that stuff. I feel like we're getting disconnected, and I feel like something is in the way and we are unable to communicate. So I want to take my 4 hours to like, trance, but then I would also like to take an extra time that it would take to like reattune to this thing of mine or attempt it.
I like that. So yeah, Brunor, it's the journey of the creature, Brian, you've been with him along the path, and it's like as you have engaged in these massive transformations, so has he, and in fact literally physically. It's like the fact is right now a Dracodile is unknown to the world. That's not a creature that's been spoke of before. This strange thing that he is, granted magic by some strange means, by ingesting the penis of a green dragon after being bit by phase spiders. And, it was like there was a lot of wild magic at play in that moment. And so it's, a life form coming to grips with his own reality as well. And as you've seen him getting smarter in his transformation, one of the first things that comes with that is self-reflection and self-awareness. And so it's like this idea of him and what he was and now what he is. And then, not being there during his discussion with Haydenax, which seemed to weigh very heavily on his spirits. You've watched this weight grow behind the eyes of your big, thick, wiggly boy. And you return to him to the one place that you both know so well and feel the most at home, and that is underwater. And so you allow the laughter of the children to remind you of your days in Elmira. Like you said, you were considered the royal of the people. That's where in your kingdom, the prince is more so the agent of the people and commanders of the military. Whereas the princess, your sister Ulara, was in stately meetings discussing boundaries and border controls, and so she was always up in the gilded castle of Elmira, very rarely took the time to walk around. And unlike you, and so you kind of have these memories of laughter and the happiness of your kingdom that was. And you and Brian, both very heavy at first, allow yourselves to settle underneath the water and feel the river flowing against you, somewhat strange. Even you can notice it. It's there is a strange wisp of something to this water, not quite as strong as the magics of the Feywild, but certainly some essence of that just tingling into the nature around this area of the Malachite Mountains. And you both kind of float there for a while, and you see him, he kind of engages you in your trance. And so for about 4 hours, you guys basically just are together, and it's very little words are spoken, but it's just the simple presence of just you together and not everybody else in a place where you both feel safe. And that calmness you see kind of like wears off that weariness from the mind of Brian. And you see him kind of like suddenly his tail kind of starts wiggling a little bit in the water, kind of like the game you guys used to play when you first met, and you see him kind of wiggle back, and he starts kind of like glaring his teeth at you a little bit, like back when you guys would play fight in the waters, and he starts kind of like, you see, even though his wings are big, he kind of tucks them back against his back to try to appear as much like he used to. And yeah, he starts just kind of like, like snap playing and biting with you. Yeah, exactly. You guys have a good Josh under the waters. So yes, Brunor, we will revisit that final hour. This 4 hours of trance. That's basically what's happening as all of you very weary from your journey, through the Malachite Mountains, through the ruins of Zulithax and the Den of Dragons and the trial of the body. And, it's like you guys you're all very weary. Even great heroes are pretty caked after a big run like that. So yeah, you're basically in your trance part of your space, and then we'll do that hour as we kind of like come back to that.
Yeah, I can just feel the waters kind of going through like my armor and like kind of washing away the like sweat from getting like squished.
Oh, yes.
I got real squished.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So just grovel.
Some just dug under the skin a little.
Yeah, I feel like the current, even though it's got that weird wisp of like there's something weird going on, but also like the water's missing stuff.
Yeah.
Like there's a wisp of something, but there's not fish. Like I'd usually see a couple bros go by, I'd be like, chilla, and they'd, be like, chilla, and
sorry man, we'll catch you later.
Yeah, they keep going. So, but I'm not seeing as many of those, and the ones that I am seeing are just like trying to get where they're trying to go. Like they're not sticking around to like hang out with your neighbor, you know. So yeah, I'm enjoying that, and I'm ready to just like let the waters flow through for like.
Yeah, you know, the your hair, you know, similar to like sea kelp, you know, it flows. It gives you more epic appearance, you know, just underwater. There's no denying the royalty in you if you were to see this visage of this, you know, blue-skinned warrior just kind of like floating in the waters. You know, and again, it's like not a creature, not a being of faith set to any one divinity. This is your church, you know, being under the water, the flow of just that. What it means to be like an aquatic creature, even though your journeys have kept you on land for so long, you know, there's no doubting where your bloodline calls you to be. So yeah, dope. Brunor, we're gonna have you kind of trancing up here in the river, which gives us Thoricus and Divot. What are you guys up to?
All right, I'll go. I look around and I see everybody doing their own thing, and I think about it, and I'm like, I don't have a lot of time left on this planet. Presumably.
Cheers.
I want to get fucked up and go shopping. David feels like blowing some cash.
Hell yeah. So, oh my. Divot, you kind of notice, you know, at the back end here, you know, kind of where these these little benches are sat behind the bar. There's a couple like kegs set up, you know, and one of them appears to have had a crack in it. You know, it's about half full, a keg, but they were worried about it spilling all over the bar, so they moved it out to the back side here. And you see about a half full keg just sitting there in the alleyway that you could put your bony hands on if you were so inclined.
Yeah, I'm just gonna help myself to as much of that as I can stomach.
Heck yeah. You just kind of shoulder up the keg, you know what I mean? Just like, set it on your shoulders. Again, there is kind of like a mercantile area. You know, you see like the classic sign of like a sack with like coin behind it that tells you there's a store nearby. You see some candlelight reflecting inside, so there's somebody in there. But that's that little building to the north of the church. There would be like the shop area.
I drop a gold where the keg was and walk off with the keg on my shoulder. Nice. And I've got there was like some, it's kind of like tap or whatever. I've got it like in my mouth and I'm just like drinking right from it.
You see like some of it splashing out of like little holes like just that are starting to form in your throat and stuff as you're kind of slowly decaying. You know, it's just like these, but you feel the sweet swill of a nice drink after a long journey, Divot. You know, like a cold beer after a long day's work. It just hits you in all the right places.
I was gonna say, does he even have a stomach to store this delicious beverage?
Man, I'm like the skeleton in The Last Unicorn. I'm like, I remember why.
All right, that's fair. I just wanted to check. Like, he's pretty rotted through at this point, right? Does he even have something to?
Yeah, he's still
trying to
got
get fucked up. I don't know if it works or not.
Yeah,
but
no.
I'm going through the motions.
No, you don't
I'll
need to
just get
eat or
fucked up.
drink, but you definitely can. Like I said, there is a little spilling and splattering from places unknown, you know, as the not complete esophagus that the water must flow down. You know, it might
I
spill
still
out.
have a body.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, I don't want to make it seem Divot like you're like falling to pieces or anything yet. That, you know, certainly right now you would be, you know, into your transformation. Your skin is a little saggier. And you're starting to look a little ripe, you know, but yeah, no, you're still a guy, you know, you're not like
All right, yeah, let's scare the fuck out of this shopkeep.
All right, yeah, so you kind of go up to the doorway here of the mercantile area. You see the kind of wooden door. You know, if you remember, this was kind of like just an empty storage area the last time you were here. But you see that, you know, the store inside is well kept. and you kind of stroll up to the door. You can see through the glass this big, giant, hunched over figure. You know, this big, giant bald spot on the back of his black hair, big, large, bulbous body. If you'll recall, probably the largest halfling you've ever seen, like 350 pound, 3 foot tall guy. He's just kind of like sitting there inside.
3/4 length.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's just like sitting over. It looks like he's still kind of hiding, but he's just like so large that it's like you can't hide all the parts of him, and he's just kind of squealing as he's like kicking around on the backside of the bar. You kind of peek in and you see him like look up at the window, and he's like, oh no, and he just kind of like hides because you're still kind of intimidating to see peeking in through the window. Not sure if you're with a good guy or a bad guy just yet. He hides underneath the bar or the counter.
Yeah, I kick in the door and say, show me what you got.
All right, David, give me a raw charisma check here. I just want to see how charismatically executed this entrance is.
Sure.
To our man.
Raw charisma.
Yeah, raw charisma, baby.
All right.
All right, dope. So you kick the door open. You've got the keg in your arm. You kind of start walking through the door, but the keg's a little too big, so it like hits the door a little bit. And you have to deal with that awkward moment of like, well, I'm gonna have to turn a little bit. Like you're just like 1 sec.
I just drop it.
Drop the keg. You see it splash on the ground. You walk in. Show me what you got. There he is. This large kind of sweaty, gross man. You see, the still lips still stained with blueberries. As you see him kind of like hiding behind his counter. You see he looks up at you. Oh, is that Divot? Oh, hello, Divot. Yeah. And he sets his big arms on the counter and lifts himself up. You can hear his heavy mouth breathing. Oh, good to see you again. You see his long nose, the big body of Hopoko the Sack, standing behind the counter, giving a big look your way. Good to see you again. Old sticky fingers, huh? Remember, you stole from him. He seems to know that happened.
I'm like, I'm here to right the wrongs and maybe take a few left turns, if you catch my drift, Daddy Fat Sacks.
Gold buys many second chances. You see, he just grabs a handful of the warmest berries you've ever seen. They're kind of like melting. They're so warm. And he just scoops up a big handful of them and just... yeah.
Gross.
Oh, sorry. Can I offer you some? And you see his like berry-stained, greasy hands reach this little bowl toward you.
YOLO.
Dimit, you ingest just the most disgustingly warm berries you've ever had. You can't imagine how anybody could enjoy eating these disgusting, tepid berries. And you just, oh my God, they're wrong. They're squishy in all the wrong ways. And the sweetness has long been removed. But you do see he's like, and he takes the plate back and sets it on the counter. And he scoops up a nice second handful. Yes. So what can I do for you, Divot?
I want your finest meal stuffed with your second finest meal.
Of course, no problem. Yes, the 5-star treatment. You see, kind of like hefts his body off of the large stool that he's sitting on. And he kind of like hobbles his, around the bar, kind of one arm on it, just kind of like giving him a little strength to move around to the other side. And he's like, the best meal I can get you. No problem. You see he reaches back and he just kind of starts digging through one of the boxes nearby. He has a bunch of like really fine salmon jerky and things. Like he's not a cook. So it's like he has like really fine salted meats and stuff.
So I realize that I'm speaking in code and he's not picking up on it.
Uh-huh.
I'm like, cool shit, my man. but I do start eating the salmon, and I'm like, whatever, I'll pay him for it.
Yeah, it's salted salmon, better than like a horrid, ration of just, powdered flour and water together. But the delicious salted fish, salmon jerky that he seems to have. He's like, yeah, yes, well, I've got, let's see. And he kind of like, he opens up the video game drawer that's like all the stuff in the PHB. If there was like anything specifically you guys needed as far as like armor or stuff that's, the standard equipment, rope, chains, pittons.
I'm wondering, I've heard rumors that before he ran his shop or whatever, he used to be a decent jeweler.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm wondering if he could help me fashion a little something I've been thinking about.
You see, he kind of like sets his big elbows on the counter and he kind of leans forward. His gut kind of spills over onto the top. Yeah, what are you thinking, man?
I would like to bestow a gift to each of my compatriots.
Oh.
A piece of jewelry, if I may. Do you have a fitting set, or like, I don't need 5 of the same thing. It could be like a matching set. What do you have in the way of fancy jewelry?
You see, he kind of walks over and, digs through a couple boxes, pulling out a small one lined with velvet. He opens it up. You see jingling around inside are probably 30 like really nice rings. You see, he's like, yeah, the Merchants Guild, when Ubaru stopped running around the roads, made me the big boy in this region. I'm pretty fairly stocked. And he shows you. He's got a pretty nice collection of rings, Divot. How specific do you want these rings to be?
I want them to be big. So here's what I want to do. When I made my vest of eyes, right, by cutting the sleeves off of the robe of eyes, I in fact kept the sleeves, and I would like to combine a piece of jewelry with one of the eyes removed from that fabric, in order to give a small piece of myself to my team to remember them by.
All right.
Oh.
I freaking love this. Yes, it will not function as a magic item. Okay, you're not really crafting something that will imbue magic properties to your party. And so, it's that connection of your guys' journey together. Probably like the nicest gesture that Divot would have made toward the group. But Divot, you do notice one thing about these eyes when you and he, kind of get down to business and start taking the rings and taking the fabric and finding a way. He wants to like layer a nice piece of glass over the fabric of the eye to give it, almost like a marble appearance. But you do notice as you guys kind of, I'm gonna grant you that because it's cool and I love it. You guys kind of start fashioning these rings out. You do notice, Divot, that the eyes, they tend to look at you. And you'll like set 5 rings out on the desk in front of you, and all 5 of the eyes seem to be kind of looking back at you. And just the D&D of it all, Divot, if they're wearing these rings, because I love this, they will be able to see you when you're invisible. Not a game-breaking ability or a big, huge magic item boon or anything, but it's like you take this aspect of the magic robe, the all-seeingness of these eyes. You take the rest of the magic item, you imbue it in a ring that you give to the party. I love that. So yeah, it's by kind of moving these rings around, you're like and you're like these eyes would be able to see me as if I were seeing me, through the robe itself. So just a cool little flavor thing to that item and that cool concept, Divot. You are able to make the 5 eye rings. Yeah, I mean, you could probably name them something way cooler than the 5 eye rings, but the 5 eye rings, he said.
Yeah,
Ugh.
that's a non-magic item.
So I look, nice work, old man.
You guys have actually been working, Divot. A lot of time has passed. You hadn't actually realized it. You've probably eaten like a pound and a half of salted salmon at this point. You know, like you just keep being like, oh, I'll go eat, you know, after I get this freaking thing done. You know, he kind of picks up on what you're putting down to it. He finally like, why don't we crack into the ale a little bit? This one's on me, friend. And you see he pulls out, you know, some really nice bottle of booze, but the like where the mouthpiece is all covered in like stained blueberries, and he hands it to you. And, you know, it kind of smells. You see there's like a fly like bzzz, like flying around as he hands you these like this bottle of mead to kind of like intoxicate yourself while you guys go about forging these 5 rings.
Sure. Yeah. So then when we finish up, I'm like, all right. So we got to get right for the rings. We got to get right for the salmon. And then I do a little look-see, and I'm like, and I need a big bag of weed.
You see, he's like, and he smiles a little bit. He's like, the wild weeds, huh? Let me see what I got. You see, he kind of like digs underneath his pouch, and he brings out. It's called Trufel tobacco. All right, now Trufel tobacco is almost like a hybrid between like a tobacco pipe and a ganja strain. Okay, so it has the euphoric, relaxing properties, but it's a little harsh and it's got a little kick to it like a tobacco. So he's like, Trufel tobacco, fine quality smoker, my man. And you see, as he laughs, you can see like little bits of like berry seeds like stuck in all the crevices of his mouth. And he offers you a fine pouch of the Trufel tobacco,
which I gladly accept.
And then he says, for the rings, and you see wipes like a big ream of snot from his nose just as he reaches for another scoop of berries and just kind of eats it all in one mush at the same time. Let's see, 10, 50 gold. Let's call it 60 gold. He leans in on you. And then he's like, something else you might be interested in. He reaches back, he pulls out this like nice gilded blue case, opens it up, and you just see a bunch of shimmering red vials, healing potions. He's got, basically they're separated into 3 categories of the good stuff. You see standard healing potions, greater healing potions, and even 4 superior healing potions sitting inside this chest. So you see he looks up at you, he's like, adventures are always getting into trouble.
I look deep into his eyes, and then without speaking, and I've only spoken to him verbally, I want to, in his mind, in the back of his mind, I want to mimic his own voice and be like, maybe he'll buy the whole lot, offer him a deal. Like I want to make him think it's his own idea.
Okay. Yo, real talk though, this is
Yeah, but you gotta make it sound like his voice.
Can you do it?
Right.
It's real nasally. Yes.
Oh, I hate it.
Yes.
How did this guy get grosser? Like, wow.
Gosh, I had some time to think about it more. All right,
Come on, you got this.
I'm lighting a different joint. Here we go.
I'm like, I'll take another round of all of it. The vials, the rings, everything.
So this divot, this is some serious clank you're talking. You know, superior healing potions carry a hefty weight, friend. 2,000 gold apiece.
All right.
You know, that's actually a discount. They usually would run 2,500 on the normal market. Again, you know, he does work for the Merchants Guild. There is their code and their contract. They have to do fair business. But he's giving you a pretty good break on that. Now, if you wanted this whole lot, I'm just gonna like do some quick math here. So this would actually cost 10,500 gold for all of the healing potions that are there. There are 15 regular healing, 10 greater, 4 superior healing potions. the deal that he would offer, he would, I could do the whole box for a clean 10,000.
Okay. All right. So the conversion rate on that would be.
So you can buy him. You'll get a little bit of a discount knocked off if you want to just buy him individual divot. I'll give you like a nice cool like. Let's see if I'm giving it to you for 500 less. That's about 10%. Yeah, like a 10% discount on these divot through your finagling here. So the superior potions would be 1,800 gold.
And it's one. How many gold is one platinum?
10.
10. Okay.
A potion. So the superiors, the real big ones, those are very rare. They're 8d4 plus 8 hit points. That's how much they heal. That's why they're so expensive.
Right.
Again, I appreciate, Merchant's Guild, he's giving you 10% off. That's about probably the best deal you'll be able to negotiate with him. The greater healing potions are now only 180 gold because of your discount. They heal 4d4 plus 4 hit points. And again, just to clarify, it is a homebrew rule, widely accepted, but drinking your own potion, bonus action. Applying a potion to somebody else is a full action. That's how we do it here. And then healing potion, your classic 2d4 plus 2, instead of 50 gold, they're 45 gold apiece. And there's 15 of those.
How do I need to give Divot my money?
All right, so I mean, like, obviously I can't afford the superior ones, but I think I can handle the rest of them,
Yeah, so basically, okay, now at that cost, 1,800 gold, plus, let's just call it 450, 2,250, 2,250 gold, for all 10 greater healing potions.
I'll make up for you don't have, because money means nothing to me, for I am a prince and I do not care.
Yeah, Divot, we can go with, like, you have telepathy. I don't mind with you, like, shopping for people if anybody wants to put their order in.
Yeah, sure.
Unless you all want to talk to Hipoko, which is a lot of fun.
I have 28 platinum if you want it. Do what you want with it. I do not care. Money is not anything that I care about.
All right, so I have 28 platinum. You have 28 platinum. That's 56 platinum, which is 560 gold.
Yeah.
Plus my 440 gold. That's 1,000 right there.
Yep.
Ja?
All right, so he'll
40 gold, because nothing means anything to me anymore.
What are you throwing in, Brunor?
Okay, 28 platinum and 440 gold.
440 more gold. So we're at 1,440 gold. Okay.
Ja.
All right, Divot.
I have another 220 gold in my own personal inventory that I can use.
Okay, so that's 1,660. If you can get to 2,000 gold, he will give you 10 of each. He'll give you 10 graders and 10 regular healing.
I got it. What do we need?
Let's
you said
see.
1660, so I need, what, 340?
Yeah.
Got it. I've got 764. So that'll be 430.
All right, even though he possesses these items, again, like the mercantile guild, it's like these aren't his potions. He sells them as part of this huge global conglomerate of merchants. It's how, there's inventories, places that you go. And so, he looking at 2,000 gold set before him, he's just like drooling, and you see just running blueberry juice just trickle down the folds of his many chins, and he's just like, oh yes, oh, and he scoops it, and he can't help but just like, oh yes, as he kind of like presses the pile against his chest. And he takes it over and he gingerly carries it. You think he lets it spill a little bit more than he probably should. He's just like, yes. And he spills it into a nearby treasure box that's marked with the seal of the Merchants Guild. 2,000 gold, the 2,000 gold divot. But you are granted 10 greater healing potions, and just to clarify, 4d4 plus 4 hit points, and 10 healing potions, 2d4 plus 2s.
Oh, damn, I thought we'd get this Mother Superior healing potions.
You know what? I feel the same way when I get paid, now that I'm thinking about it. Anytime I get paid, I'm like, yes!
Drop that cash.
Yeah, that wasn't very hard for me to think about. I was like, what would I do? I'd be like,
smoking a huge blunt that he didn't even see me roll as I'm like walking out of the shop.
fantastic. Yeah, you know, he gives you the box. You know, you can obviously distribute it and do what you will with this. But he's like, here, easier to carry around. One last thing for me to keep track of. You know, he sets it up on the counter. He repositions himself on the stool, and he's like, almost time for my raspberries. And he just reaches underneath, and he pulls out this just like rotting plate of raspberries. I'm so sorry, it's disgusting, but they're so gross. And he just, I love them when they're mushy. And he just kind of squishes some in his hands and eats them as you smoke your blunt and walk out.
Have a disgusting day.
So Thorcus, while the berry mash was going down, what were you up to, my friend?
I'm so glad that's just meta disgusting knowledge.
Yeah, you don't have to throw up. Like Thorcus doesn't have to throw up. Drew might, but Thorcus doesn't.
So graphic though.
Now I'm picturing him with the berries and some gold, like.
Oh, come on, though.
Oh, it's so bad. There's more flies than you would think.
God. All right. So anyway, I mean, I know it's meta knowledge. I don't know anything about the children that we say before getting mistreated by the Boo Rockin' children. Correct.
Correct. Yeah. It's like, I don't want to make it. It's like they're more. They're not their people. You know. It's like Burakan kids have different interests, and you know, it's more a cultural difference. It is kind of strange, you know, Thor, because you're observing. It's like this is usually like a quaint little peaceful town, and then like the Burakans are anything but, you know, and so rather than like a fusion of their two cultures, it's literally like the Burakans just kind of hang out on the east side of town where their war tents are. You know, it's not that there's tension between them, but there is very much the Emerellan people and the Burakans. There's not a lot of mix, you know. Perhaps,
okay.
You know, that's what you observe at least.
Right, but there is tension because these tough ass Burakan kids are taking on these, you know, artistic, nature loving, simplistic. You know, just, right. Hey, we got to eat today. That's fucking awesome.
Right.
Like, what's wrong with that? You could still be tough as nails and give a shit about someone and not fucking make them feel bad about their life choices. So, I mean, again, it's meta knowledge. I don't know that as Thorcus. It bothers me as Drew a lot, but
we'll be like, listen up, kids. Yeah, like after, you know, you see basically like, yeah, you see Tina, like you see the kids all kind of watching her, and they all kind of like look over and they see, you know, everybody else kind of gone. You're still standing there kind of in the zone where you know, wrecked these things. You see the kids, they have a lot of respect for you, Thorcus. You know, if you you know, understand they are raised to believe that the Raka is their god. It's who they pay tribute to, and you are like the agent of that. You're the aspect of the Raka, and so, you know, they look at you piously, you know, as whereas the older men kind of look at you as an inspiration, you know, a man to be. You know, you are a bit of beginning to be a legend in these kids' minds. And so, you know, your behavior is in this moment is absolutely being looked upon by these kids. So, you know, if you wanted to bestow some Thorcusly wisdom upon the youths, even without knowing that there may be some tension between the other kids, that's totally fine. I like that instinct. That to me, that's something like maybe Thorcus of the last time you were in Baraka may not have done. You know what I mean? Like, or, you know, and so it's like
taking names and falling off burning bridges and fighting Medusas and stealing fucking golden axes and shit.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wasn't really focused on the children.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I love that.
I had other shit going on. But yeah, no, that part of me does kind of reach out to that. I was like, I never wanted to get picked on or made to feel different about how I grew up just because someone else didn't grow up that way. I was like, cool, you grew up that way. Tell me about it. Talk to me about it.
Yeah. What was that like?
So I know I don't have any inspiration. And I know that Papa gets tired. Papa just fucks shit up for like 3 episodes in a row.
Oof,
I also took a nap. But was promised a second nap.
A longer.
There was at least mention of one.
It's true.
However, I would like to, in this instance, take one for the team and say, you know what? I've had good naps. I've had good meals. I have the best friends and buds imaginable surrounding me at all times. So, you know what? Maybe once upon a time, Buraka and the way of their growing up was very, and still is in many, many ways, very connected to how I grew up in the dwarfenage. But life doesn't have to be that fucking tough. You know, shit doesn't always have to be that bad. And it's because of these roll for Josh and motherfuckers over here and my fail for rolling Joshin, but I still try just to have a little bit of fun every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So you know what? It doesn't always have to be about, you know, fighting and... I mean, don't get me wrong, Papa likes to party, but
okay,
it doesn't have to be so... fuck, God, like I feel like I'm fighting against myself and my character right now. Damn it. It doesn't always have to be so disciplined, but at the same time, I'm like, I know what we're about to go into. Like, Papa's been around, you know? But I also think that there's quality to life that I didn't necessarily experience before that I've now experienced with these amazing companions and friends and family. That if these children that were raised to feel a certain way and live a certain way that don't understand other ways of life could have a glimpse of and enjoy before potentially this terrible thing that we all know is kind of coming. Fucking just have a good day. Build a fucking water slide and go nuts. Like, go fucking bonkers on that river and have a good ass fucking time. Like, who cares? Get it done. Just for a day.
Build a slide. Build
Yeah. I want to look at Brian. I want to look at my Rocky kids, the other kids who felt shame to be like, water slide. We're
all
doing
right.
it.
Thorcus, I'm gonna need you to roll for water slide. give me a D20 on this one.
Do you want me to roll charisma? Or D20? Oh wait, no. Is it a save or is it a D20?
No, it's just it's a water slide check. You know, if you'll see, and then look, it's not that you failed to make a water slide. Okay, I just maybe there might have been a couple more twisty turns. Maybe
have more people put their inspiration in water slide idea.
What inspiration?
Fucking water slide. Hello.
Thorcus, you're able to build a functioning water slide. And you show the kids.
There's a river, there's stone, there's kids. Like,
yeah, you see they follow the suit. You know, having seen Tina and the child Emily, right? Yeah, go into the area, into the swimming hole. You know, by this tree, by this cool rock. You kind of like lead them over and show them the same thing. You know, there is a beauty to the simplicity of just enjoying your life wherever you be found. You know, and it's like you think perhaps in all of this militaristic work that they focus on trying to become like their old man, trying to work their way up the ranks of the Stone Reavers like their father and prove themselves worthy. Perhaps they're losing a little bit of their freewheeling childhood. So you show them a better way. You show them a water slide.
I'm just saying that their fathers don't even know about the militaristic life of the Stone Reavers. They literally just learned it like what, a month ago or 2 months ago? So
about 2 months ago. Yeah.
You think you know everything about everything? Like, just
blow your mind. It was
Get
actually
stupid
in
with your
real
friends
life.
sometimes.
11 months ago was the last time you guys talked to in our real life.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Hey.
Wow.
But yeah, so you've seen them in the months of their training, and that's it. It's like you can see Thoricus. You inspire these people in a way beyond even your own comprehension. They see you as not necessarily just the ideal of what they need to be eventually. It's like they're pushing themselves to try to be ready to serve you well, to serve the Raka well, to try, and you see as zealously as they went into their old life, which was more of like a mercenary kind of pack mentality, this nurturing defense of areas and protecting instinct and using your strength as a force for change is something they are trying to adapt to harder than they normally would. You have inspired them in such a massive way through your actions in front of them, besting Malka the Fury on the flaming bridge over the Medusa pit, and felling the shadow creatures in the woods across the way. It's like, there's many steps of your legacy that they're all very aware of. And so yeah, they are absolutely inspired by you. But they do you in this moment, show the kids that it's like there's two sides to that coin. Just like you learned in your training in Kulmara, the games that the battle games and stratagems and stuff that you would play, the times you would listen to the bards play songs and just hum the battle melodies together and just be around each other with some ale and some bread and that kind of camaraderie, and that side of the coin as well, that maybe they didn't get to learn from watching you whirl an axe around on a battlefield or fight. And so in this moment, having this kind of personal connection with you, I think that you would succeed in that pursuit, and then you have between like I said, the tension, if any, the cultural bubble maybe in the newer generation, not quite as intense.
Well, yeah, I guess these kids are being, or I guess beforehand used to be taught, like, this is the only way of life. You fight to fight. I guess I just want to teach all of them, like, no, fight to, fight for what you believe in, for what matters to you. Don't fight just to fight, to be the strongest or whatever. Like, what's your reason? Like, what are you willing to fight for instead of just to fight?
You see one of the little scruffy kids, he looks up at you and he's like, "What's your reason, sir?"
To build a fucking water slide in the middle of a forest? What's up?
Water slide! The kids are just like jacked as hell, and you guys, you proceed, a nice bit of water slide joshing, with the 9 on your water slide, single lane, you know what I mean? Not a lot of twisty turnsies, no jumps, but absolutely a nice muddy water slide, which it's worth its weight in gold.
I have all sorts of creative types around me, and I also have 8 hours to waste because Papa's not taking a nap. That's right. While the kids are playing on the terrible water slide that I thought of, that just didn't really come together, they're still having fun.
So you're foregoing a long rest, Thoricus. Am I correct?
Fuck yeah,
You get an inspiration point for that. You get an inspiration point.
And you made the kids Imploricus. They thought about things. Proud.
Ow.
You know what, Jake? You get an inspiration point for that. Whoa!
Yeah, I mean, she did it. She reached through and grabbed one of my inspiration points.
The fibers of the internet, man.
Successful sleight of hand check from Brunor there.
Oh shit! Brunor gets an inspiration point for that sleight of hand.
Shit! Damn, Dimmitt took one of my inspiration points. Guys, get out of here! Stay out of my box! Stay out of my box! Stay out!
I miss your musk. I miss your smell.
All right, so it goes for the Ferocious Five as each of you rest in your various states. Rial in his 4-hour trance, Brunor a 4-hour trance as well. The two of you will come out at about the same time. Rial, at no point in your visage did that figure in the far off distance move closer. No other words were uttered, but the warmth of the hearth of Martha certainly felt ever present. And as you kind of come out of your elvish trance, you kind of reset. You look around the room, the pews arranged, the soft candlelight, the altar from which, the maiden Sorella would give her sermons. You see, she looks up at you again as if she's contented with leaving you as you tranced on the floor in the church. And as you kind of, your head shifts a little bit as you come back to light, you see she looks up. She looks you in the eyes and she says, "What did she say? The lady, she spoke to you. What did she say?"
I'm still kind of snapping to a little bit. And then even during this trance, I don't remember doing this, but I think just the feeling of Shantia, I awoke with just son of a birch in my hands as part of this resting process. So even coming to that.
The sudden weight, your bow in your hands.
But I will, I'll address her. She told me we were on the right path.
She smiles, dips her quill in the ink, and just begins furiously scratching on the paper again. Good.
All right, I'll leave her to her business, and I'll, it's like I woke up feeling the best I have in a long time. Just getting that connection to nature did something fierce. The smells, when you wake up and it's like you pop in all the right places, and you're like, let's go.
Real, you feel the refreshing rest of your your experience, your full experience, a full rest there, and you kind of step out, and you look out on the city before you. You see Thoricus kind of playing with some children as they slide in a little bit of a mud pit. They're like, "Oh, come on!" They're like trying to urge him to do it, and he's like, "I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it." And then they're like kind of tugging at him, and they're like, "Come on, together, yeah." And then Thoricus gets down on, maybe he doesn't now. He does. All right, so then Thoricus slides down. You see the kids all, slippery slide, having a good time. The aura of doom and gloom that was surrounded this place, when you had first entered this place, is so drastically changed, as you've seen the effect of you five have in many places before. You're kind of like looking out across the water, across the town. You pass the dust, the hole in the ground where Harnax's bones used to be, long mashed by the might of the D-Rex. And you look over and you see Brunor, kind of like floating in the water. You see the wings of Brian kind of like lifting up suddenly, out of his back. They're just kind of like flowing a little bit outside of the water. And you kind of like look and you notice that it seems like they're communicating with each other. We shift over to you, Brunor. You guys are kind of floating in the water, the cool, the flow of the stream and that strange wispy energies. You see Brian's eyes open and you guys begin, this like attunement, this reconnecting with each other, making the gestures and redefining the language that each of you have. And you see, he's kind of going through the motions with you, trying to bond, that connection between you that had been gone. He feels it too. And you feel, as you kind of like focus on each other and spend the time with each other in this place, that bond is built and strong again. It does look like he's like trying to tell you something. And so you see he's like considering the way he tried to tell you before, and this time he's like, and he goes and you see and he gathers 5 sticks and he like lays them down on the bed of the river. And the river flows by, but they stay there. They stay, these 5 sticks laid out one next to the other. And you see he looks at them, and in a sudden display of more intelligence than normal, he like reaches his crocodile hand out to you and touches you, and then he points down and he like looks at you, and in that communication, that language that you have between each other, he basically says that you are not the 5. And that's where we're going to pick it up next time, guys.
Absolutely excuse me.
Absolutely excuse me.
Okay, fine. Thank you. This has been so much fun. I'll just...
Fucking great joke, dude.
It's fine. It's fine. I love you guys. I love you both. I'll see you.
I'm not gonna hear it. Fucking get it going. Nope.
I'll see you. I'll just see you. Yeah, I'll see you.
Come back.
She's never coming back.
No.
Brenna quit D&D just now because I was mean. Because I was mean to them.
Oh.
Um,
I hope she comes back.
yeah, sit on that, guys. Enjoy that while we have a little time off. I just think about it. Think about that. What did that Draconile just say? Anyway, guys, holy crap, that was fucking amazing. What a cool this. It's always something, man. I love playing D&D with these people. It is such a treat. Thank you guys so much for spending the time with us, enjoying this crazy story that we get to tell. Some very exciting things to come, I assure you. I'm very excited for this next stretch of the story. And tonight was just fantastic, man. It just goes to show every night of D&D could be a little bit different. I don't think we really rolled much in the way of combat tonight, but holy fuck, what a game was had. I have to send mad love all the way to our wonderful cast, these fucking incredible players. It is my favorite game of D&D I've ever played. I fucking love doing it with you guys every single Tuesday. Big shout out to Sean Gilchrist, Stephanie McHugh, all the people on the back end, Sandy Stein, who does all of our original music. All the sounds that you're hearing here are generated by one brilliant man, Sandy Stein, and a massive lion's share of the art, including this wonderful Shantia image done by our man Vlad Kolanik, who did so much for us. So Ed Palomino with the designs and layouts that so many people have said so many nice things about. We fucking love this thing. Yeah. What's up?
You, Bam. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Bam.
Get out of here.
Yeah, thank you.
Don't thank me. I've tricked you guys into playing Dungeons & Dragons with me every week. Every week I've had you. This is the, I did it! No, so seriously, guys, I love you. I honestly, thanks to everybody that puts so much awesome stuff into this, and including our amazing community, which just fosters such a welcoming, awesome vibe for the newcomers and stuff. We have this 54 baby. There's quite a story that we've told. Some exciting stuff about babies. Can't say anything yet, but exciting things are coming. We do have us a little ritual we like to do around here. Maybe you've heard about it, maybe you haven't, but we like to take a lighter, like this one right here, with that crit. Make sure we're not going to light any of our friends, family, or household pets, or churches on fire, and go. Lighters up. Thank you for playing some good D&D with us, guys. We fucking love you. Fuck. Everybody's so goddamn wonderful all the time. I love it.
So what? You can't touch me, 'cause I'm from the internet.